So right now you're seeing footage of Switch indie game Gris, which released on the Nintendo Switch on December 13th of 2018. Now, you know, I don't do a lot of talking about indie games, although that might be changing soon, as I am planning to potentially be reviewing some indie titles here in 2019, including one later this month. Made possible by our patrons, by the way, patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. Actually, thank you guys so much, because without your support, we wouldn't be doing game reviews. And we have the next stretch goal up ahead of us here to make SideQuest a weekly show. So why don't you guys check out Patreon? But that's besides the point. Let's dive right into why we're talking about Gris right now, today, almost a month after it came out. They had an ad rejected by Facebook. Not the end of the world to have an ad rejected by Facebook. Of course, it's just one of the popular social media networks out there. But their trailer was rejected for being sexually suggestive. Now, if you know anything about the game Gris, as you are seeing in this footage, and it's a beautiful game by Devolver Digital, there's nothing really sexually suggestive in the game anyways, let alone in this given trailer. And there was one particular part of the trailer that was flagged as sexually suggestive by Facebook, and it's this image you are seeing right here. That image right there of an artistic statue in the background that depicts absolutely zero nudity is being called sexually explicit. Now, sometimes this just happens. It's automated. There's AI robots going through things. Well, they appealed. And they appealed the decision on the trailer, obviously trying to take advantage of advertising on Facebook. And they lost the appeal, with Facebook again telling them that that image, that one frame in the trailer, is sexually suggestive. So it is, here's kind of what they had to say. Facebook rejected a Gris launch trailer ad for this sexually suggestive scene. So this year is going great so far, and that is a tweet from the official developer, Devolver Digital. After all of that, Stephanie Tinsley, someone who represents Devolver Digital, was talking to Polygon about this, because Polygon reached out to some people at Devolver Digital just wondering what's going on. And she said, "This is really stupid. We appealed, and Facebook said the appeal was rejected based on the grounds that Facebook does not allow nudity. First of all, she's a statue. And second, absolutely no nudity is shown in that photo. Nor is this what any reasonable person would consider sexualized content." And it's notable, the statue remark, because while Facebook does not allow nudity to be, posted to Facebook, you can't take a picture of yourself naked and throw it up on Facebook. It just doesn't work. You can't make video game characters naked and put them up on Facebook. It just doesn't work. But they do have an exception for statues and pieces of art. And a statue in a video game, while we aren't sure about the legalities of all of that, could potentially qualify as a piece of art, like several of the naked statues that have been posted to Facebook over the years. It's considered artistic. It's not considered sexually suggestive. So the thing is that regardless of her pointing out that it's a statue, so it should fall into the statue argument, it's not sexually suggestive in the first place, which it's just, I'm confused. Look, Facebook's got kind of a bad rap going for it over the past year. We all know, well, maybe not all of us know, but there's been a lot of things happening to Facebook over the past year, data leaking and just not some good stuff. And I still use Facebook daily, kind of an old school person. It was one of the first, actually, it was the second social media place I used. I used MySpace first, way back in the day, believe it or not. But yeah, it was the first social media platform I was on that absolutely exploded, well beyond MySpace. I'm still on there. We have a Facebook page on there with 60,000 plus followers, and I'm going to continue to use Facebook, even though personally, for the uses I was using it for, which was essentially advertising of our written work and our video work, Facebook doesn't like that, because Facebook lets you host videos. They won't let me run ads on those videos, so they just want me to put videos up on up on their site so they can make money off them. And if I post a YouTube link, they actually limit the reach of YouTube links because they consider YouTube a direct competitor, even though they're completely different types of social interactions. But whatever, I digress. I have my issues with how Facebook has been handling the pages side of their whole thing. But I have to say, this is a little ridiculous. More than a little ridiculous. I feel for Devolver Digital. For starters, Gris is an excellent game. I have had the fortune to actually play the game a little bit, and my gosh, is it one of the most gorgeous games I have ever played. And that's saying something, because there's a lot of really gorgeous indie games out there, and it's stunning every time something new comes along that just blows my mind yet again. But Facebook rejecting a Gris launch trailer because of sexually suggestive scene of a statue of a woman in the background that isn't even naked, let alone doing anything that is sexually suggestive, unless holding out your hand like you're holding something or looking at something is suddenly sexually suggestive. This is, to me, I don't know, maybe it's a larger societal problem. Maybe the whole world's trying to be a little bit too PC. And I really don't want to dive too deep down that rabbit hole, but I have to say that this is a little ridiculous. If that image is sexually suggestive, then every single time I am on camera, I'm also sexually suggestive because I'm opening my mouth. And how do you know what I'm planning to put in it next? I mean, it's ridiculous. This is... And maybe because of the outcry, maybe Facebook will reverse their decision, but that's just them responding to outcry. It shouldn't have been flagged in the first place. And like, upon being flagged, when you appeal it, they should obviously look at the one thing was flagged and realize that is not sexually suggestive. But what are you going to do? The bottom line is Facebook that's their platform. They can do what they want, just like YouTube. YouTube can block any video of mine they put up they want. It's the reality of putting our work in the hands of a third-party hosting site. They control, ultimately, if people get to see my work. I'll give you a little example today. I put up the Nintendo Prime podcast today. I'm sure almost none of you saw it or got notifications for it, regardless if you're subscribed and hit that bell icon today. You want to know how I know that? The podcast today has had one of the lowest viewerships a podcast episode has ever had. And there are people that keep telling me they aren't even aware the podcast is up because they didn't get a notification. There are people who have emailed me today asking where the podcast is when the podcast has been up for over 6 hours. Why? Because YouTube controls if people see that my podcast is up, regardless of if they specifically are following the playlist for the podcast. They still are not being informed. This is just the pitfall of places like Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, is that they have all this control, and they absolutely should have that control because it's their websites. But sometimes you have to go a little bit further than just this. To Facebook's credit, it's a little bit better than YouTube. At least on YouTube, and like people copyright, blah, 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 blah. Like when you appeal it, it goes back to the original person who copyright striked you. So, I mean, what are you going to do there? Most of the time, they're not going to rescind their copyright claim, even if it is bogus. At least Facebook, they look at it themselves. You appeal to Facebook. But, oh, man. I'm sorry. On the bright side, you know what? The primary reason I'm even covering this story isn't just because I think it's ridiculous. It's to give Gris a little bit more attention, to give Devolver Digital, an excellent company, an excellent indie company, a little bit of attention, because this game deserves the attention they get, and if Facebook won't allow them to get it, well, whatever following, whatever attention I can grab with this particular video to give that game the attention it deserves, I am more than proud to do that. So why don't you guys check out Gris on the Nintendo Switch eShop, or maybe on your other preferred platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm sorry, Devolver Digital, that you even had to deal with this bullcrap. That being said, be sure to enter our Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Ultimate giveaway down in the description. It is through a Gleam.io link. It's a 50,000 subscriber giveaway, which we are closing in on rapid fire here, on pace to hit it potentially by the time Nintendo Switch enters its 3rd year. So that should be a lot of fun. Let's make it happen and get one of you guys a Nintendo Switch with a copy of Smash Bros. Or an extra Switch or whatever it happens to be for you. I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in every single day, and I'll catch you in the next one.